So, hello guys, a very good evening to all of you, and welcome to the yet another session of the clinical questions regarding the ophthalmology. I hope you people are fine, preparing well for your NEET PG 2021 and taking full advantage of this clinical session. Again, like always, we will be discussing the clinical questions. What are the most important DDs, the provisional diagnosis, then what should be the history, and what are confusing points regarding the question, and also the images. So are you ready? Let me know of the audio video, if the audio video is clear, and we can start. Yeah, Rizwan, good evening. I am good. What about you people? How are you doing? So shall we begin? Anybody who can comment on my audio and video, is it good to go? Yes, it is good to go. All right. So let's get started with a question. The first question is a 49 years female, and this is a very important question because every time we get a question regarding this, I am not telling you regarding what, because we have to solve this question, and this itself is a very important question. Many times AIIMS people have also asked a question, and then there are so many other points that we need to discuss related to this, so we will be discussing that also. We have a 49 years female who is presenting with a complaint of red painful right eye, and there is also blurring of vision with photophobia. We have photophobia from the past 5 days. So shall I write what we get it till now? So this patient female is coming with the sudden painful, because this is the way I have taught you in the classes also. So this patient is having a sudden painful diminution of vision. So first of all, who will tell me the DD? I think last time also we discussed that if we are having a sudden painful diminution of vision, this is for you guys. You have to tell me what are the things you are going to think. What is the DD of sudden painful? Because why it is sudden? Because it is just from 5 days. So since 5 days, this patient is having sudden painful diminution of vision, and she's a female, right eye. There is a problem in the right eye, and her symptoms are getting worse over the past 5 days since she started gardening. So this is again important thing, history of gardening. Why this gardening is important? Can you tell me? We have a history of gardening. So this gardening is taking me towards the vegetative matter. This is taking me towards the vegetative matter. So what are you thinking now? Did you get some hint now? Chemical injury, acute congestive glaucoma. And what about this vegetative matter? History of gardening. Sudden painful diminution of vision में अभी भी there is one more thing which is very important. I think rather two more important things that you have not told me. And she thinks that a plant branch has scratched her right eye. See, a very, very important clue. So here you are getting a history of trauma from the vegetative matter. What can you think now? Anybody who can tell me what are you thinking if I have a history of trauma from the vegetative matter? What is vegetative matter? It could be a plant material, it could be a animal material. Plant material में a wood could be there, or animal material में animal tail could be there. So what are you thinking? Did you get a clue? A very important thing, sudden painful भी है. And Anjali, don't write only keratitis beta, you have to be, yes. So Avinash is coming up directly with the answer. No, this is not a shortcut, Avinash. We have to go through all these things, only then I'll come to the answer. So we have sudden painful diminution of vision. First of all, I can think about acute anterior uveitis, which you people missed, right? Acanthamoeba keratitis and fungal ulcer, right? Yes. And then we can also think about acute congestive glaucoma. Then we can think about the chemical injury, but chemical injury mein I will get always, history of some exposure to the chemical. Then I am also thinking about the acute keratitis, acute corneal ulcer. Now, because I am getting a history of trauma from the vegetative matter, so which keratitis are you thinking? Because I am having a history of trauma from the vegetative matter, I can think about the fungal keratitis. I can also think about bacterial because it is sudden and painful. Then due to the trauma from the vegetative matter, sometimes it can be soiled. Sometimes it can be soiled. Then if it is soiled, then what are you thinking? You are thinking about acanthamoeba. Then we are thinking about the acanthamoeba keratitis. Any other thing, guys? Sudden painful blurring of vision? Any other thing that you can think of? Very good, Avinash. Yes. So we can also think about acute mucopurulent conjunctivitis. Yes. Any other thing? Sudden painful diminution of vision में any other thing that you can think of? Acute anterior uveitis, acute congestive glaucoma, chemical injury हो गया, corneal ulcers हो गए, acute mucopurulent conjunctivitis. अच्छा, can you tell me why it is not a case of conjunctivitis? Or it can be a case of conjunctivitis. What do you say? She has no history. She has no history of contact lens wearing. No underlying medical problems. So what can we infer from this? If I do not have history of the contact lenses, what should I cut from this? If I am saying that there is no history of the contact lens use. So we do not have any history for the usage of the contact lenses. Then what are you thinking? What should we exclude from it? I do not have any history of chemical exposure. Okay? Then they have not given me the risk factors for the glaucoma. Why it is not a glaucoma? Look at the age of the patient. चलो फिर भी हो सकता है because it is around 50 years. So 50 years female can have acute congestive glaucoma. But do you have any other factor which is going towards the glaucoma? Do you have the risk factors? What are the risk factors of acute congestive glaucoma, guys? Lens overwear syndrome. She has no history of contact lens wearing. इसके लिए no contact lens overwear syndrome. अच्छा. Scleritis, yes. Another thing that I can keep in the DD of a sudden painful diminution of vision is scleritis, and even along with the scleritis, we can also keep the episcleritis. I can also keep the episcleritis in the DD, so both I can keep scleritis, episcleritis. So you can complete your list now. This will help you in your ward leavings, in the next two, in your Viva, HOSI also. We have acute anterior uveitis. They will not ask you the final diagnosis. They will ask you, what are you thinking? Right? So we can think about acute anterior uveitis. We can think about acute congestive glaucoma, keratitis, any chemical injuries, mucopurulent conjunctivitis. We can think about scleritis. We can also think about the episcleritis, and she is not having any history of the contact lens wearing. So I can kind of, ignore this acanthamoeba, because the most important risk factor in cases of acanthamoeba keratitis is your use of contact lenses. But there is one more important thing here. What is the most common infection in the patients who are using the contact lenses? Most common infection in the patients who are using the contact lenses. Anybody who can give this answer? What is the most common infection in the patients who are using the contact lenses? Is it acanthamoeba or something else? What is the most common infection? Is it the same? See, there are two different things. Most common infection in the patients using the contact lenses, and the most important risk factor Most important risk factor in the acanthamoeba, in the cases of acanthamoeba keratitis. So there are two different things. So Ashwin, it's not acanthamoeba. Indian Guy and Avinash, you people are correct. Most common infection in the patients using the contact lenses is the Pseudomonas. So these two things are again important. It is the Pseudomonas, while the most important risk factor in the patients for the acanthamoeba keratitis is the use of contact lenses. So these are two different things. Okay? So don't confuse between the two. Now, coming back to the question, they are saying the condition of our eye is shown in the image. Which of the following is not true? You have to tell the false statement, not true regarding this condition. Now, from the picture, can you tell me what kind of ulcer is this? See, I have told you in part that this is ulcer, right? So, what is this actually? This is a ulcer, corneal ulcer, which was in our DD. Corneal ulcer is there. Now, what kind of corneal ulcer is this? Is it a bacterial ulcer, fungal ulcer, acanthamoeba, या फिर viral? Anybody who can tell me what kind of ulcer is this? Yes. So, the most important risk factor is the use of contact lenses. That is also correct. And the most common infection in the patient using the contact lenses is the Pseudomonas. That is also correct. Now, another question is, what is this kind of ulcer? What kind of keratitis? This patient, female, was coming with the sudden painful blurring of vision, and we are having the history of scratching, the trauma from the vegetative matter. Now, trauma from the vegetative matter, what we were thinking was fungal, and then we were also thinking about the acanthamoeba. And because there was no usage of the contact lenses, so I am not thinking that much about the acanthamoeba. So by that sense also, the answer is coming to be your fungal corneal ulcer. Yes, fungal corneal ulcer. Now, what are the features from here which you can say? You can see these finger-like projections here. So we are having a finger-like projections, due to which I am saying that this is your fungal ulcer. Finger-like projections are there. And what are the other signs? Let's talk about the fungal corneal ulcer. That is very, very important. If I talk about the fungal corneal ulcer, most of the time it is the fungal corneal ulcer they are asking. So let's talk about this fungal corneal ulcer. Recently there has been, increase in the cases of fungal corneal ulcer. Why? Because of the usage of steroids. Nowadays, over the counter usage of steroids is also increasing. Everybody is going and buying himself or herself Ciplox D. Chemist is the first, doctor of the patient. And they go to the chemist and they say, give us some eye drop. They are also giving, dexamethasone. So there is more and more usage of the steroids. And steroids, these are actually contraindicated in the fungal corneal ulcer. Then second thing, why they are increasing is the injudicious use of the antibiotics. There is also injudicious use of antibiotics. So more and more usage of steroids, more and more usage of antibiotics actually have led to the increased in the proportion of the fungal corneal ulcer. Okay? Now, fungal corneal ulcer, what is the most common etiology? Who will tell me? Etiology, what is the most common etiology of the fungal corneal ulcer? We will be discussing the fungal corneal ulcer by large. What is the most common etiology? Which fungi are the most common? See, I am going in the way your viva will be there. So they are saying, if you say this is a fungal ulcer, right? Then say, why fungal corneal ulcer is more? Which fungi is known to be causing? So what is the most common etiology of the fungal corneal ulcer? We have got two, right? One is your filamentous fungus, and number two is your yeast-like fungus. Yes, trauma with the vegetative matter is the most common. Very good. Trauma with the vegetative matter is the most common risk factor. जैसे कि For the acanthamoeba, the most important risk factor is the use of contact lenses. उसी तरह से for the fungal corneal ulcer, what is the most important risk factor? It is the trauma with the vegetative matter. So again, a very important viva question. Then they are saying that etiology. What is the etiology of fungal ulcer? It could be filamentous fungus. It could be a yeast-like fungus. Now, what in filamentous? Which is most common filamentous? Now, another question. Who is going to answer this? Filamentous है, very good है. Good evening, Rahul. Filamentous fungus and candida, ये दोनों अलग अलग हो गए. Filamentous में जो most common है वो होता है aspergillus. Most common is the aspergillus and this is followed by your fusarium. Aspergillus followed by fusarium. While yeast like में जो है that is your candida and then we have the cryptococcus. So most common out of all will be your aspergillus. This is the most common one. Then followed by fusarium. And where do you get these yeast like infections? Normal people will have more of filamentous fungus, but those patients who are having the immunocompromised state, those who are having the immunocompromised state, they are having more of candida and cryptococcus. Like for example, it could be patients having HIV, patients who are having pregnancy, or they can be on any deficiency disease. It could be a renal transplant where they are being given the immunosuppressants. All these patients will have this. Now, what is the most important thing? If I talk about the clinical scenario, the clinical features of the fungal corneal ulcer, what is most important? The signs are always more than the symptoms. The most important thing about the fungal corneal ulcer is that the signs are always more common, more important than the symptoms. And many a times we can even have asymptomatic. We can also have the asymptomatic one. Now, what are the important signs of fungal corneal ulcer? Everybody will tell one sign, right? Tell me. Aspergillus is the most common, right? One sign for the fungal corneal ulcer. What is the color? Tell me, number one, what will be the color of the ulcer? Number two, tell me about the vascularization. Are you going to get the vascularization or not? Okay. Then number three, tell me about hyphae. How will you see the hyphae? I am giving you the hints. Number four, what is the name of the immune ring? We get also an immune ring. What is the name of that ring? Number five, we will get a hypopyon. What are the characteristics of the hypopyon of a fungal corneal ulcer? That. Number six, you have to tell me about the satellite lesions. Are you getting the satellite lesions or not? Will you get the satellite lesions or not? You have to tell me that. और क्या रह गया? Perforation. Will you get perforation here? Everybody will tell me, first of all, what will be the color. And seven, we have to tell about the perforation also. Will you get the perforation or not? Then number eight, pain will be there or not. Dry looking. So number one, let's talk about the color. It is grayish. Dry looking. It will be grayish and dry looking. And there will be raised margins. Grayish hai, dry looking with the raised margin hai. Will you get vascularization? And another question, where do you get typically vascularization? No vascularization. Very good. Where there will be no vascularization. Completely absent hai. And that is why we have got grayish dry looking ulcer, because vascularization is completely absent. And where do you get typically vascularization? That is another question. Please answer. Hyphae. So yes, hyphae will be there, which will be seen as the finger-like projections. So you are going to get the finger-like projections. And due to these finger-like projections, we are going to get the multiple satellite lesions. So we are going to get multiple satellite lesions, feathery margins. What is the name of the immune ring? It is the immune ring of Vesely. Another important question is the immune ring of Vesely. Grayish हो गया, finger-like projections हो गए, Vesely ring, multiple satellite lesions. Yes, very good, Govind. Vascularization is the typical feature of bacterial ulcer. There we will get red one, acute red eye. Okay? What are the characteristics of the hypopion? Hypopion is non-sterile. Why it is non-sterile, anybody? And non-mobile. Hypopion is non-sterile and non-mobile. Why? Why it is non-sterile? Because the fungal, yes, out of proportion. Out of proportion what? Pain out of proportion. That is not for fungal ulcer. It is non-sterile because we have got the hyphae actually. So if I am having an ulcer, suppose this is an ulcer, so fungal hyphae are going to penetrate inside it. So it is non-sterile, and therefore because of the invasion it is also non-mobile. While in cases of bacterial ulcer, it is just the opposite. It is sterile and it is mobile. So it is just the opposite. Vascularization is, yes, typically seen in bacterial. Very, very good. What is perforation? Perforation is absent. Usually perforation is absent because vascularization is absent. So perforation is also absent. Wherever we are getting the vascularization, there only we will get the perforation. Pain. Pain out of proportion नहीं है. Usually no pain होगा. Usually it is asymptomatic. Usually it is asymptomatic. There is no pain. And what somebody was saying, out of proportion. So pain out of proportion. Yes. Where do you get pain? Out of proportion of the size of the ulcer. If you are having pain which is out of proportion to the size of the ulcer, then what kind of ulcer is this? Then think about acanthamoeba. Then we have to think about the acanthamoeba ulcer. Acha, one more thing. Suppose I say that you are having a fungal ulcer. ठीक है ना? Fungal corneal ulcer you are having because you are having a dry looking ulcer. Multiple satellite lesions hai, hyphae hai, everything is there, but you have pain. Suppose you are having a pain in a fungal corneal ulcer, then what is your diagnosis? What are you going to think? Why we have a pain in a fungal corneal ulcer? Any clues? Can we have pain in the fungal corneal ulcer, or you will change your diagnosis if you are having a pain in a fungal corneal ulcer? Will you change your diagnosis, or you have something else that you can think of? Let me see. Anything? What do you think? Can we have pain in fungal corneal ulcer? What are you going to think there? So here you have to think about the secondary bacterial infection. We have to think about the secondary bacterial infection. So don't get confused. You can have a fungal ulcer with pain. We can have a secondary bacterial infection, and that is why it is said that which drug is given in all kind of corneal ulcer irrespective of the etiology. There is a question, which drugs are given in all types of keratitis. This is again important MCQ. Irrespective of the etiology of the corneal ulcer. So what is the answer? The answer is antibiotics. Most of the time when we have the corneal ulcer, what we give is the antibiotics because secondary infections are very, very common. Secondary bacterial. So this is again an important thing in all kind of keratitis. We always give this what you called as the antibiotics. All right. Okay. Okay. Now coming to the question itself. So we are almost sure that this is a case of a fungal corneal ulcer, and we have to think about the untrue statement, the false statement. The one is unsterile hypopyon. Will you get unsterile hypopyon? Yes. Fungal corneal ulcer mein we were getting the hypopyon which was non-sterile and non-mobile. So we will get an unsterile hypopyon. Number 2, antibiotics is the definite treatment. Is antibiotics the definite treatment? You have to give me the answer. Will you get the feathery margins? And will you get the satellite lesion? So give me true or false. True and false. True and false. True and false. And true and false. You have to tell me A, true or false, B, true or false. Because you can get a multiple answer type of question also. So you have to tell me like from A. Any tips for NEET 21? Yes, definitely I'll be talking about these tips. I'll be taking one session for some special tips on NEET 2021. Baki, we are doing everything with regard to that only, so that you are able to solve the clinical questions also, some of the doubts that you get from the other options, then what are the important topics, and then I think on 18th of August, I am coming up with the 10 most important topics from the ophthalmology that we are expecting in NEET 2021. So yes, every session that I am taking is directed towards your NEET 2021 ophthalmology. Okay, don't worry. So, acha. So you have given me some of the true and false. Number 1, unsterile hypopyon. This is true. The antibiotics is a definite treatment. It's false. Feathery margins are true. And satellite lesions are also true. So what will be your answer here? Answer will be antibiotics is the definite treatment. Then what will be the definite treatment? What will be the definite treatment then? If antibiotics is not the definite treatment, then what we are having as a definite treatment, it will be your antifungals. It will be antifungals. That will be your definite treatment. Now go to antifungals. So one was your filamentous fungus and one was your yeast-like fungus. For the filamentous fungus, aspergillus was common. What is the treatment of choice for aspergillus? Tell me that. And what is the treatment of choice for this yeast-like fungus? Give me the 2 treatment of choice. So that will complete our fungal corneal ulcer. Give me the netamycin. Very good. Treatment of choice for your aspergillus is your netamycin. And what about the yeast-like fungus? What about the yeast-like fungus? Yeast-like fungus may we give the nystatin along with the amphotericin B. We give the nystatin along with the amphotericin B. So this is your treatment. Now the related images. Okay, discussion is not complete till we see the other images also. So any idea? What is this? Spot diagnosis. Spot diagnosis. Let me see. Because nowadays online papers are going on. So you are also getting this kind of questions. Here, some of you have sent me also for the spot diagnosis. Hai na? So what is your spot diagnosis here? Let me see. What is this number 1 and what is this number 2? Give me the spot diagnosis here. Let me see. And give me a reason also why you are saying this. Netamycin, kanamycin, इसके लिए nystatin, yes. खाली hypopyon दिख रहा है और या something else also. Where do you get hypopyon? What is this? See this also ना. ये है number 1. Endophthalmitis. Now, how do you know that this is endophthalmitis? I'm just asking the spot diagnosis. What can you see? Khushbu, it could be a case of endophthalmitis, but I have not told you. So what you can see, you have to tell me that. You can see that this is a corneal ulcer here. And what you can see here is a hypopyon. Hypopyon. So what you can see is a corneal ulcer and what you can see is a hypopyon. Now, my next question is, what kind of corneal ulcer is this? Why it is a bacterial corneal ulcer? All A's ने answer दिया एक साथ, Avinash, Ankur, Ankita and Khushbu is also there. हाँ. Now, why I am saying that this is bacterial? Next question that your examiner will ask, that why I am saying that this is bacterial? Because you can see the vascularization. And we know that the vascularization is actually absent in cases of fungal corneal ulcer. And you are seeing the vascularization. You are also seeing the acute red eye. You are seeing it as an acute red eye. Then what else can you see? You can see a single ulcer. You can see a single corneal ulcer. You are not seeing the multiple satellite lesions. No feathery margins. There is no feathery margins. So it is bacterial. Then no immune ring. Right? And congestion is present. We have got the vascularization. Congestion is present. It is not dry looking, grayish white. That is not there. So that is why I am saying that this is actually a case of bacterial keratitis. What is the most common cause of bacterial keratitis? Most common etiology of the bacterial keratitis. Any idea? What is the most common agent causing bacterial corneal ulcer? Most common keratitis is the bacterial keratitis. And what is the most common bacteria causing this bacterial keratitis? Any idea? Bacterial corneal ulcer. Which bacteria are you thinking? Which bacteria? Then another question. Most dangerous hypopyons are caused by which bacteria? So most common etiology, when I talk in the word and also in the India. So in the word it is the Staph aureus, while in India it is the Streptococcus pneumoniae. This is the etiology of the bacterial keratitis in India and in the world. While what is the answer to this question? Most dangerous hypopyons are caused by? Most dangerous hypopyons are caused by which bacteria? Pseudomonas se zyada, Khushbu, one more is also there. In the most dangerous hypopyons, it is actually the Streptococcus pneumoniae, that is pneumococcus you can say. Streptococcus pneumoniae hai, followed by the Pseudomonas. It is the Streptococcus pneumoniae followed by the Pseudomonas. And what is the typical name of the ulcer which is caused by this pneumococcus? It is called as Ulcus serpens. This is caused by the Ulcus serpens. And this ulcer is also called as hypopyon corneal ulcer. It is called as Ulcus serpens. Ulcus का मतलब होता है ulcer and serpens means serpiginous. It is the serpiginous. And whenever it is caused by the pneumococcus, it is called as hypopyon corneal ulcer. Then you will say, what about this which is caused by Pseudomonas? This is called as corneal ulcer with hypopyon. This is called as corneal ulcer with hypopyon. Only the ulcer which is caused by the pneumococcus is called as hypopyon corneal ulcer. ठीक है? Is this clear, everybody? ठीक है? Now, coming to this. What is this? Again, tell me the spot diagnosis. Suppose you get this. What are you thinking? What is this? What is your spot diagnosis on this? Pneumococcus is the most dangerous. Very good. Most dangerous, Ankur, is not Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas is a virulent bacteria, but the most dangerous corneal ulcer is your Streptococcus pneumoniae, which is called as Ulcus serpens. And that ulcer is also called as hypopyon corneal ulcer, and this is followed by Pseudomonas. ठीक है? Yes. Hello, Satvik. How are you? Okay. So what is this? Tell me this sign. What is this sign, and what is this etiology also? Yes, you people are awesome, right? So this is actually the, what you call as the ring infiltrate. This is a case of the ring infiltrate, and this ring infiltrate we get in cases of acanthamoeba. Acanthamoeba keratitis. Ring infiltrate we get in cases of the acanthamoeba keratitis. What are the clinical features that you expect here then? Clinical features, what are you expecting in cases of acanthamoeba keratitis? Here you are going to get the pain which is out of proportion. Pain will be out of proportion to the size of the ulcer. Pain will be out of proportion to the size of the ulcer. Why we are getting so much pain? Any reason? What is the etiology? Why I am getting so much pain here? This is due to the radial keratoneuritis. This is due to the radial keratoneuritis. मतलब cornea में I am having the radial arrangement of the nerve. So there I am getting the inflammation. So radially I am getting the inflammation like this. That is why this is called as the radial keratoneuritis. Then I have already told you that the most important risk factor for this acanthamoeba keratitis will be the use of the contact lenses. Now, there are certain features which are very, very confusing in acanthamoeba, and that is why we get a problem in the diagnosis of acanthamoeba. Let me tell you those. What happens in cases of acanthamoeba? When we talk about the acanthamoeba keratitis, it is actually a free-living amoeba. Free-living amoeba which is present in the soil. It is a free-living amoeba which is present in the soil. Now, how this soil is actually entering the eye? So, that is with the help of the contact lenses. That is why the most important risk factor for the acanthamoeba keratitis is the use of contact lenses. Now, how this acanthamoeba reaches the contact lenses? By the tap water. If you are washing the contact lenses with the tap water, or we can use the contaminated contaminated solution or expired solution. Some people are not seeing, they are using the expired solutions. Sometimes we can use the homemade solutions. Then so that could be there. Or sometimes if we are using the soiled water. Okay, then one of the confusing thing is, here also you can get history of trauma with the vegetative matter. Now, one of the history that you can get here is this, due to which you are confusing it with the DD of the fungal corneal ulcer. So you can also confuse it with the fungal corneal ulcer. Why? Because we are having here also trauma with the vegetative matter when it is soiled. So if this vegetative matter is soiled, I can confuse it with this. Then another important thing is that here you can also get the pseudodendrites. Here you can get pseudodendrites. Now, what are dendrites and what are pseudodendrites? Let me show you that. Dendrites means when you are having tree-like arborizing pattern like this. So this is your dendrites. Okay? What are true dendrites? This is your true dendrites. Why this is true dendrites? Because here you are having these dendritic pattern and you also have these knobs. So if the knobs are present, this is your true dendritic pattern, right? These are the knobs and this is the floor. Do you know the stains? We have got different stains for the two. So F for floor and F for fluorescein. Here we have the fluorescein stain. Floor ke liye fluorescein stain. And knobs ke liye we have rose bengal. Rose bengal stain. So this true dendritic pattern we get in the herpes simplex virus. True dendritic I get in herpes simplex, so viral. Now what are the pseudodendrites? Pseudodendrites mein I don't have knobs. Like this it is. So there are no knobs. No knobs are present. Then this is a pseudodendrite. Pseudodendrite is present in herpes zoster, also in acanthamoeba. So basically the next DD will be your viral keratitis. So sometimes in the question they are saying that we have history of trauma with the vegetative matter, but it is not a case of fungal corneal ulcer. Then they can say that we have a dendritic pattern, and though they are saying that we are having a dendritic pattern, yes, very good. So then still it is not a viral keratitis. So next DD is your viral keratitis. Then another important thing is that you also get the macrophages here. Macrophages. Now you will say, why I am getting macrophages? Actually, they are not macrophages. These are actually the trophozoites. These are actually the trophozoites. Trophozoites is the active stage of the acanthamoeba. It is the active stage of the acanthamoeba which resembles like macrophages. So basically DD is also the bacterial keratitis. So we have certain things which is confusing with the fungal keratitis. That was actually history of trauma with the vegetative matter. We have got something which is confusing with the viral keratitis because we were having the pseudodendritic pattern. We have something which is confusing with the bacterial keratitis because we have got the macrophages. Then how will you make the diagnosis then? What is the most diagnostic feature? Now, how will you manage to confirm that this is a case of acanthamoeba keratitis? Give me the answer for that. Next important thing is, how will you confirm that this is acanthamoeba only? Let me see who is going to answer this. Again, $1 million question and a very important question for your vivas also. How will you diagnose? Suppose you are answering all these questions and the examiner says, why can't it be viral? Why can't it be bacterial? Why can't it be fungal? And then you are going to say what? What we are going to do in order to make the definite diagnosis, and your clue is that we are going to do culture. What you are going to use for the culture? Culture on what? You are going to do culture. So what is the most important diagnostic culture media that is used for the diagnosis of Acanthamoeba keratitis? क्या है आंसर? Anybody? Satvik, Avinash, Khushbu, Govind. Who will give the answer? Ankur? Yes. So it is your non-nutrient agar. Yes, Ankita is correct. Enriched with the E. coli. Non-nutrient agar, which is enriched with the E. coli. You are going to do the culture on this and you are going to get the definite thing. Okay? What is the treatment? Treatment, the best is the combination. So we are using the polyhexamethylene biguanide along with the propamidine isothiionate. Propamidine isothiionate. So best is the combination. Yes. So this was your Acanthamoeba. Then let me show you something more. What is this? Give me the spot diagnosis here. Spot diagnosis. What is this stain? How do you see it? What is the appearance? What is your diagnosis? So let me see. What is your answer here? Your questions are: number 1, what is the sign? Number 2, what is the diagnosis? Number 3, what is the name of the stain? And number 4, which filter are you using to see it? In this way, you are getting the questions on your vivas also. They will give you a picture, okay, and they will write the points. You will have to answer them in just 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. So tell me this. Yes. है ना? You are enjoying ना? ये मजेदार है. So this sign is actually your dendritic keratitis. Sign is a dendritic keratitis है. So what is the diagnosis? Herpes simplex. Stain क्या लिखा है? Nobody has written the stain. Ankita ने लिखा है, but Ankita, you have written only one stain, and I told you that there are 2 stains. Filter क्या होगा? Cobalt blue. And where do you use this cobalt blue filter? कहाँ पे मिलेगा? Where do you use this cobalt blue filter? Do you know the name of the instrument where you have you can manage to see this cobalt blue filter? Stains के लिए we have got 2 stains. Fluorescein stain for the fluorescein, and for the knobs we are using the rose bengal. Knobs के लिए rose bengal है and floor के लिए fluorescein है. Where do you have this cobalt blue filter? Have you got any idea? ये we have this on the slit lamp, and then we also have in our ophthalmoscope. Direct ophthalmoscope में भी होता है. Even in the direct ophthalmoscope also we have this filter, cobalt blue filter. Tonometry. I think Yuvraj is trying to say कि ये stain और हम कहाँ use करते हैं? Tonometry में भी we are using which? अच्छा, another question. See, तुम लोग अपने आप को खुद ही फांसते हो. Which tonometry is using this fluorescein stain? Any answer now? Which tonometry you are using? Which kind of tonometry are we using this fluorescein stain? Options do. One is your Schiot's indentation tonometry. ठीक है. Another question, which kind of tonometry is using fluorescein stain? Number 2, we have Goldman's applanation tonometer. Number 3, we have got Perkins tonometer. Number 4, we have TonoPen. Can you give me the answer? Where do you use the fluorescein stain? Which kind of tonometry? अच्छा, so you people know this. ठीक है. तो yes, the answer is your Goldman's applanation tonometry. Goldman's applanation tonometry है. What is the principle? See, you have molded your viva towards that now. What is the principle? What is the principle of this? The name is Goldman's applanation tonometry. Goldman's applanation tonometry. What is applanation? Suppose this was a cornea. So we are applanating and we are doing the flattening. So this means there is a flattening of the cornea. There is a flattening of the cornea. What is the principle of this Goldman's applanation? This is the gold standard. Nobody has given me the principle till now. What is the Imbert fix nahi hai beta. It is Imbert fic. No problem. You can always correct yourself. Not a problem. See, it is actually Imbert fic law. ठीक है. The principle is Imbert fic law. What is Imbert fic law? Imbert fic law says that pressure is equal to force upon the area. Pressure is equal to force upon area. So the intraocular pressure that you want to calculate is equal to force which is required for the flattening of the cornea. Force required for the flattening of cornea upon the area of the cornea. ठीक है? This is the principle. Now here what is happening? This area is fixed. The amount of the area which is flattened is fixed. So that is 3.06 mm diameter of the cornea. Because it is diameter, that is why I have taken in mm. I am not taking mm square. It is mm. So I can say that this is actually a fixed area tonometer. Therefore, it is a kind of fixed area tonometer. It is not a variable area. It's a variable force. दोनों हम कह सकते हैं. It's a fixed area tonometer or it is a variable force tonometer. Fixed area tonometer या फिर variable force tonometer. ठीक है? Now, let me describe the important points how to see it. So, when you are seeing it, it is having a probe. Something like this. ठीक है? This is the probe of Goldman's applanation tonometer probe है. So this probe is going and it is actually touching the cornea. This is the cornea, like this. It is actually touching the cornea. Now this probe contains biprism. It contains a double prism or the biprism. And here we are actually using the fluorescein stain, which from where we started this question. So here we are using this fluorescein stain for the staining of the cornea. Okay? So this round probe is just going and it's touching the cornea. That is why we get a round circle of contact like this. We get a circle of contact when it is touching the cornea. This is called as circle of contact. Now this circle of contact is splitted. This is actually splitted by the biprism. This is actually splitted by the biprism, and then you get something like this. These are splitted. So it was having a circle, okay? Now it is splitted. So those semicircles we are getting, these semicircles are called as Meyers. These are actually called as Meyers, and the thickness should be appropriate, about 0.2 to 0.3 mm we are having the thickness of the Meyers. So what is the end point? This is wrong. You don't have to end here. If you are having something like this, then this is also wrong. You don't have to stop here. So they should not be away from each other. They should not be overlapping. So proper thing is that then when they are just touching each other, one is this and one is this, like this. So this is your end point. This is the end point. Here you have to take the reading. Here you can take the reading. Now, if you go back to the principle, that was pressure is equal to force upon area. Okay? Area is fixed. Therefore, pressure was directly proportional to the force. Okay? Now, pressure is in mm of mercury, while the force will be in the grams. So now, therefore, you cannot take this reading in grams because you have to give the reading in mm of mercury. So pressure will be equal to force into the constant. So this will be equal to, force will be your reading, whatever reading you are getting, into a constant, so that is 10. So pressure is equal to your reading into 10. This is the final value. This is how you take a reading in the Goldmann-Zepplination tonometry. Are you getting this? Any confusion? Thank you so much for the compliments, guys. So, are you clear with this? Today we discussed the ulcers. We did the comparison of the bacterial ulcer, the fungal ulcer, the acanthamoeba, the viral, then how to differentiate the different stains, the comparative features, and then your bonus is the Goldmann-Zepplination tonometry. Is everything clear? Anything you want to ask here? What is the most common tonometry we are using? We are not using this Goldmann-Zepplination tonometry most commonly. This is the most reliable one, which is used as a gold standard. But the most common that we are using is the Schiotz indentation. That is the Schiotz indentation tonometry. So let us discuss once the treatment also of the corneal ulcer. In order to complete our topic, we have seen that one was your causative treatment. ठीक है. One was the causative treatment. Causative treatment में antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral या फिर antiprotozoal, like we were having the polyhexamethylene biguanide with the propamidine. ठीक है ना. दूसरा एक और होता है, that is your supportive treatment. That is your supportive treatment. So what about your supportive treatment? What are the things that you are going to give? So tell me what about your supportive treatment? Any leads? क्या क्या देंगे? Antibacterial, antiviral तो दे दिया. Avinash, I'll keep one session separately on tonometry, okay? So that we will be discussing all the kind of tonometers. Maybe in the next session, I'll keep one question regarding the tonometry, and that day I'll be discussing all the tonometers. ठीक है? I'll be doing that. Right. So supportive treatment में क्या देंगे? Anybody? Very, very important thing is your atropine. Steroids. No, steroids are contraindicated in the keratitis. Don't give steroids. Atropine. For the ciliary muscle spasm. Whenever we have the keratitis, we have the ciliary muscle spasm. For that, we will give atropine or bada likho, steroids are contraindicated. Steroids are contraindicated except in the disciform. Except in the disciform keratitis. Only in the disciform keratitis where you have got the deep stromal keratitis, where you have the deep stromal keratitis, only there we can give the steroids. Don't give steroids otherwise any place. ठीक है ना? So one is atropine. और क्या देंगे? We will give the tear supplements. We will give the tear supplements because we want to give the moisture so that it heals fast. So one was your atropine. Another is your tear supplements in order to give the moisture. और क्या दे सकते हैं? What else would you like to give for the corneal ulcer? Atropine हो गया. Dark goggles. Okay. Why I want to give the dark goggles? Why I want to give this dark goggles? Anybody? Dark goggles we will give for the photophobia. For the photophobia, we can give the dark goggles. Anything else? Would you like to give vitamin C? Why you want to give the vitamin C? Any idea? And have you got that, Raj, that why will you not give the steroids? To prevent the photophobia, yes, you will give the dark goggles. Vitamin C क्यों देंगे? To improve the healing. To accelerate the healing power, we will give the vitamin C. Any other thing would you like to give? Then day may you will give the eye drops. And in the night, HS means in the night, I will give the eye ointment. This was again a question that was asked last year in AIMS. AIMS 2020 mein this question was asked that a nurse is there and she is having both a drop and the ointment. So you have to use first the eye drops, give a gap and then the ointment. And preferably the ointment is used at the night time because you know it has more consistency, thick hair. It will cause blurring of the vision but give a large coverage. So over the period of night हम use कर सकते हैं. Yes. Then you can add the antioxidants also. Multivitamin plus antioxidants. So these are the different things. Whenever the patient is coming, we are starting all these things. Sometimes we are also giving the painkillers to the patient. Then if the patient is going in the, impending perforation, then we will have to admit the patient. You have to give the bandage, soft contact lenses, tissue adhesive gloves. We also give the cough suppressants to the patients, laxatives to the patient because we don't want to give the extra strain to the patient in that case. So these are the things that you will give in the cases of impending perforation. So I hope this is clear. Today we have done with the keratitis, comparison of all, and along with the Goldbin's applanation, tonometry. All right. So this is all for today, and please help me in knowing what are the other topics that you would like me to discuss in the form of these clinical questions. So next time I'll keep that kind of session, and also do let me know that what other things we can do for your exam. And like somebody, I think Avinash was saying about the tonometry, do let me know. I can keep a question regarding the tonometry, and next time we can discuss all the tonometers also. So this is all for today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your participation and your cooperation. And I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I did. And this will certainly help you to clear your exams in the practical as well as the theory exams and your entrance exams, and also improve your clinical skills. So thanking you, and we'll see next Friday same time with a new topic. Till then, goodbye. Happy ophthalmology.